Cruise news time. Well, another story of a family denied boarding because of pre-cruise testing for their kid. Plus, a lot more. We've got a celebration of a cruise port coming back strong. We've got 2 cruise lines changing their vaccine policy internationally. And we got a big day for the Carnival Mardi Gras. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, happy Sunday. It is November the 28th, 2021, and I tell you what, it's almost over, November. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving, and I hope you've got the bulk of your Christmas shopping done. I have zero of the bulk of my Christmas shopping done, but that's okay. I'm less than a week from a cruise. That's kind of exciting. And I can't wait to go and share with you guys the Norwegian cruise line Joy, our first Norwegian cruise ever. I'm stoked. What should I try on Norwegian? All you NCL fans out there, tell me what I must try on the Norwegian Joy. But look, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the cruise news, and I have a few interesting stories for you. I'm going to save the big one for last. Family denied boarding because of their kid and the pre-cruise testing right down there in Tampa. That's the tease for the big story. Let's go through some of these other stories, though. Let's start with a celebratory story. St. Martin, one of the more popular cruise ports in the Caribbean, had a big day. A big day last Wednesday. For the first time since the shutdown, they hosted 6 cruise ships, 7,500 passengers hitting the island for a day of fun and sun and tourism. The 6 ships that made port at St. Martin on Wednesday, the Sky Princess, Aida Luna, Aida Diva, Marella Cruises, Marella Discovery, Royal Caribbean's Explorer of the Seas, and Royal Caribbean's Jewel of the Seas. St. Martin, one of my favorite places. I went there with my friend Don Terrace from Don's Family Vacation. We did a ATV tour around St. Martin. If you've never seen it, it's really a nice look at the island. I will leave that linked above. Make sure you check that out. But these stories are just good stories. Good stories for the restart of cruising, popular cruise ports receiving more and more cruise passengers. And so we celebrate St. Martin getting a big day this past week. And certainly St. Martin wasn't the only place celebrating this past week for having a big event. The Carnival Mardi Gras also celebrating this week as the man himself, Emeril Lagasse, came on board to spend Thanksgiving on the Carnival Mardi Gras. And one of the big things that he did is there was a ribbon cutting ceremony for Emeril's Bistro, Emeril's first restaurant at sea. Emeril there using the big scissors like he should, cutting the ribbon. This was from Carnival's Twitter account. Emeril had some other duties this week. We've talked about it before in a previous show. He was doing some teaching in the test kitchen. He was part of a chef's table, and he also participated in the morning show with cruise director Mike Pack. Cool to see Emeril on the Mardi Gras, and cool to see Emeril in front of the restaurant which bears his name. Bam! That one's for you, Emeril Lagasse. All right, let's transition from the fun of Emeril to a more serious topic. We have a couple cruise lines changing their vaccination policies internationally. First up, MSC Cruises now requiring all passengers on all their cruises to be vaccinated. They were one of the cruise lines in Europe that would allow non-vaccinated passengers to cruise on their cruise ships. They have now changed that anyone who is eligible for a vaccine must be vaccinated to cruise on MSC Cruises. There still is an exemption for kids 12 and under who are not able to get the vaccine. Of course, in the United States, they can get the vaccine, but abroad, they cannot get the vaccine. So there are still measures in place to allow those younger guests on board through a testing cycle. But for anyone that's 12 and older eligible to get the vaccine, they have to get it if they're going to cruise on MSC. Another company making a change would be Dream Cruises in Singapore. Dream Cruises in Singapore, worth mentioning because they just celebrated their 1-year return to service. They started cruises back, doing cruises to nowhere in Singapore, November the 6th, 2020. They've hosted over 200,000 Singaporeans, passengers from Singapore, doing cruises to nowhere, and they've had some significant changes over the last couple weeks. Just announced that they will be allowing international passengers on these cruises to nowhere on Dream Cruises, and part of that announcement is a requirement that everyone be vaccinated. Previously, that was not the the requirement. Now everyone who is eligible for vaccine, just like these other cruise lines, they have to be vaccinated. And for international travelers to get into Singapore, they also have to be vaccinated. And so this is another scenario where as countries open up their borders, as they impose these vaccine rules for people coming into the country, it is benefiting things like the cruise industry. And so now Dream Cruises has a larger pool of cruisers to cruise with. And again, celebrating a year of cruising, now celebrating the ability to take international cruisers on these cruises to nowhere in Singapore. Now let's move on to the story about the family in Tampa that got denied boarding on their cruise. But first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these cruise news updates. You got to be in the know. All right, Tampa, Florida, just 45 minutes away from here. There's a family that had planned on going on a cruise on Thanksgiving. You got a mama bear, a papa bear, an older baby bear, and a younger baby bear. I don't know why I went with the whole bear thing. It's a family of 4 people. You got the parents, you got one older daughter, you got one younger daughter, and the parents and the older daughter all vaccinated. The younger daughter just became eligible for vaccine and has 1 shot. But as we know, 1 shot does not make you fully vaccinated. And so they plan to cruise on Carnival Cruise Line. And so because the younger daughter was not fully vaccinated, they had to provide a PCR test that was taken between 72 and 24 hours before the cruise. They went to Walgreens, they got it done. However, the test did not come on time. They got to the port without the test. And of course, you get to the port without the test, you are denied boarding. And the sad part of the story is that they were denied boarding, but before the ship left, about 10 minutes before the ship left, the test results did arrive. Of course, you know, that sounds dramatic. That's fun to put in the newspaper article. But of course, 10 minutes before the cruise is getting ready to leave is not enough time to get some people onto the cruise ship. There's a whole process that you have to go through. Sadly, they were not able to do this. Carnival did them a solid for sure. They refunded the money because they were not able to have all the testing requirements before they were able to get on the cruise ship. They were refunded their money and they packed up the family and they went and had a family vacation in Atlanta. And in the article, they said they had a great time in Atlanta. I share this story with you just so you know that, you know, there could be some calamity at the port. Make sure your ducks are in a row and make sure, like with this testing, you got to make sure you got multiple options. You almost got to have a backup when it comes to testing. The last thing you want to do is show up at the cruise port without a test result. You are in for a hard time if that is the case. Boom, that's your cruise news. Time for you to sound off. What do you think about these cruise news stories? Leave a comment below. Thanks so much for checking out the show today. Please show your support by hitting the like button, or the next time you reach for that Planters mixed nuts can, some mixed nuts ninjas already been in there taking out the Brazil and the cashew and the hazelnut and the almond. They just left you with those peanuts, and some of them still have that little brown part on them. Ugh, you don't want that. This is Tony with Lido, Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.